in my flavor profile, I like a little higher wheat in the mash bill. So I like it a little sweeter instead of a rye, although the rye is almost better than the bourbon.
Really?
Me, but it's my taste.
I like both just as much.
They use all of their products are locally grown.
Okay.
I told him, I said, that I was the bourbon drinker. His name is Joe. He's a great guy. He said, I know. He said, I want your honest opinion. I said, we'll give you. I loved both of them.
You liked it? Okay.
That's why it's in the store.
And that's a local one.
It is.
Right near Myrtle Beach.
Yep, Little River, South Carolina.
All right, and of course you got a Castle and Key, which some people have a hard time finding.
We just got that in. That and the Murray Hill we got in.
Okay, you don't have any cigar blend from Murray?
We do not.
Okay.
We were lucky to get this. This is another local one. This is
Anita's
down near
Choice
Buford.
by $50.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a Pendleton Rye,
Oh, and we got
which is a
this
Canadian
one, too,
rye.
and I've never.
Cream of Kentucky Estate. Bottled in Bond. Can't go wrong with a bottle of Bond product, that's for sure. How about that?
How about the Blue Run? Have you tasted any of the Blue Run?
I've had one of them, but the only
Their bourbon in it.
The only thing that interests me when it comes to like Blue Run is that whole Blue Run journey / series that they did a little while ago.
Yeah.
But those were like $2,000. I've heard of this brand. I don't know a lot about it. Do you know? Because this one has like something in the bottle.
It's a spire that's in there because once they bottle bourbon, it doesn't change flavors.
Yeah.
If you open it, leave it open, it might change.
It might change a little off in the oxidation.
But it's not going to age anymore in a bottle.
Okay.
But for added flavor, they put a wooden spire in there.
I see it.
This one has a Cabernet steeped French oak spiral, sort of like when makers did the stave profile things.
Yes.
Basically along that line, except this
one's actually in the
adds
bottle.
more flavor. Yeah, it just adds. And I've had the wheated.
The wheat inspired.
Yes, I've had this one.
Okay.
No, the
Toasted
wheat
oak.
inspired. Yeah.
Yeah. Toasted oak, fired French oak, and Cabernet steeped.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We sell a lot of it, and it really. I've only had this one, and I was very pleased with it. It's full of flavor. There's a lot of flavors. Not as much on the nose, but once it's in your mouth, it like starts off with flavor, and then there's fireworks in it.
It just gets better and better.
It does.
And the longer it sits in the bottle, it might change a little.
You're
bit.
right.
Especially once you start adding air to it and tipping it and moving it around.
Yeah.
Okay, I've had the weeded one, and I love larceny, so I love weeded bourbons
I love
and
the
stuff.
wheat. Yeah.
Never tried the pork cast, which is interesting.
I haven't tried this either.
And a double wheat, okay.
The
wow.
double wheat, I loved. My husband said it's too sweet.
Really?
And I'm going, it can never be too sweet. So you've heard about blackened.
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Don't you?
Yep.
Have you
and that's-
tasted that?
I've never tasted it, but this guy tried to get me into this one that's signed by, or it's like,
Wes Henderson?
yeah, and I just I couldn't shell out $100 for it.
No.
There's a lot of other bourbon you can get $100 for.
That's what I tell people all the time. You can look all you want for allocated bourbon, but there's a lot of good stuff. The thing like Evan Williams single barrel, you used to could find
Oh my gosh.
every day, all day long.
They only sell it in,
Only in Kentucky.
now, yeah. And these used to be made by Brown Forman, and now they're made by Sazerac.
Yep.
That's what the blue tops are for.
Yep.
Everybody's been looking for the old black tops by Brown Forman because they're better.
Yeah.
It's just
And we got a new flavor in praline.
praline. Alright guys, so the first stop for today, decided to head up to Georgetown this afternoon and walk inside to this beautiful store which has a really interesting name. It's called Tupac's Liquor, and met this really nice woman named Irene. She was the best bourbon talking woman I've ever met in my life. Walk in and she's got this whole shelf just absolutely covered in bourbon and rye, just some of the most cool names and brands that you may have not heard of and then you definitely have heard of. And of course, we were talking about this blackened brand that I've not tried because, you know, it's just something I've kind of seen but not really dove into. What does she do? She smacked me one of these, dude. All right, here we are at Pawleys Island Liquors, but they seem kind of busy, so we'll see if we can't sneak some filming in here real quick. Look at that. $85. Wow. Oh, check this out. Barrel Vantage, as well as the cast strength and the dovetail and the seagrass. Can't speak. I hate all of you.
I hate you!
Especially you, French Oak. You give Maker's Mark a bad name. Anyway, 4 rows of small batch, and then they got single barrel for a pretty good price. I love Michter's no matter what. Great product, great company, very transparent on everything that they do. Then we got Heaven Hill bottled in bond, blackened, which I'm excited to try. Look at that, $53, and she gave me a mini bottle. Miss Irene's so nice. Pretty decent selection over here. Not a big fan of Noah's Mill. Basil Hayden, good mixer, but maybe that's it for them.
Yeah. How do you handle like your allocation?
Bars and restaurants.
Bars and restaurants, CR Class B. Okay. We just you fulfill your orders, and then whatever you got left over goes out on the shelf, probably.
Left over.
I guess you're right. All right, thanks, man. All right, so now we just got back in the car from Pawleys Island, wine and spirits, and they didn't really have a whole lot. They had some decent prices. They had Maker's Mark BEP sitting on the shelf for an extra $20 though, which I guess is okay if you can't find it where you're at. But anyway, and then all of a sudden I walk out and I see the manager ask him one more time kind of what their allocation process is, and he finally tells me that it's the bars. They send it to all the bars and restaurants, and I just asked him, I said, man, what about any leftovers? You put those out on the shelf? And he shook his head and he said, what leftovers? So that's the state of bourbon right now up here in Pawleys Island. Not a whole lot going on, but that's all right. And I think we're done for the day. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you had a good time. If you saw anything that you liked, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.